As a data analyst, you will constantly hear words like data lake, data warehouse, data lakehouse, data mart thrown around in meetings and interviews, but hardly these are taught in schools or boot camps. So in this video, I am going to break down the 8 data storage concepts you absolutely need to know as a data analyst. Number 1, data lake. So a data lake is the centralized storage of data in its raw form. So no processing done at all, which could include structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data files. So when we talk about structured data files, those would be data files where the structure of data is predefined. So think about a CSV file or a tab delimited file or even a Parquet file. When it comes to unstructured data, those would be your audio files, video files, or images, anything which needs some kind of processing with the help of machine learning or some kind of app before information is extracted from it. Now, when it comes to semi-structured files, these include files like XML, HTML, and JSON, where information is stored within the tags. But what caused data lakes to be invented in the first place? So not everything is worth putting into tables in a database, right? And not everything is to be analyzed every time. Companies didn't want to just throw away data because maybe one day they would utilize it, especially their data scientists, to make some predictions. Plus, it is super cheap compared to a database. Think of a data lake like a hoarder's attic. Every single thing that ever came into the house eventually ends up there. Your old VHS tapes, baby shoes, tax returns, broken guitar, and perhaps your kid's first drawing. It is all up there because one day you might want to get something out of it. Some of the examples of data lakes are Amazon S3, Google Cloud Storage, and Azure Data Lake. Number 2, data warehouse. So compared to data lake, the data warehouse is clean, structured, and optimized so that business questions can be answered fast. First, data goes through something called ETL process, where it is cleaned and transformed and only then loaded into appropriate tables. Think of it as a well-run library. Every book is cataloged by subject, by author, and by publication year. Every magazine is filed and indexed. And when you walk in and ask for everything ever written about French Revolution between 1950 and 1900s, the librarian comes back in 2 minutes with a neat stack. That's a data warehouse. This was possible because of the meticulous cataloging, organizing, and the labeling done beforehand. And that is why querying was faster. Number 3, data mart. So within a data warehouse, there is something called data mart, which houses data for a specific purpose or department. The data in it is very limited and only a handful of people have access to it. So you may have a data mart for sales team, one for marketing team, and one for finance. The data within the data mart may already be processed to answer the most desired business questions. And plus, it is faster and more reliable as everybody has the same number rather than calculating their own and messing up on calculations. As we all know, this is a big problem when one person's number doesn't match with others. And there are real business actions to be taken from it. Think of it as a large hospital where the main medical record system holds every patient's complete history. Every test, every prescription, and every visit and every procedure ever done. But when a cardiologist sits down to review their patients, they don't want to wade through dental records and dermatology notes. They only want to see what matters to them. Number 4, data lakehouse. Now, if I told you there is an architecture that tries to combine the best of both data lake and data warehouse into one single system, and that is a data lake house. It sits on cheap object storage just like data lake, but adds a structured layer on top of it to give it a data warehouse level query performance without duplicating your data into a separate system. Think of a lake house like a well-organized open plan office. The filing cabinets are right there on the floor. They are accessible, they are labeled and ready to use. But the raw material room is also right next door. When someone needs to dig into unprocessed stuff, there is no separate building, no shuffling files between departments, and everything is under one roof. Number 5, data swamp. So data swamp is not something you plan for. It is what a data lake turns into when nobody is managing it. So there is no labeling, no ownership, no naming conventions, and data just keep dumping in from everywhere. It is like you keep shopping from your favorite home goods store and keep putting those bags in a room, and after a while you have no idea which bag had those perishable cookies. So to bring some order back, tools like Data Lake were introduced, which sit on top of your data lake and add structure and keep track of every change made to the data and make sure nothing gets corrupted or lost along the way. Number 6, operational data store. Now, there is another concept called operational data store or ODS, and it is honestly one of the most misunderstood things in the data architecture. It is not a data warehouse and it is not a data lake. Rather, it sits right in between your systems and pulls current data from multiple places in real time, giving you a single view of what is happening right now. It typically holds only hours or days worth of data, not years. And it is mainly used for operational decisions, things like current inventory levels, live order status, or active customer service tickets, all in real time. It actually feeds the data warehouse, and the data warehouse handles the historical and cleaned up data, while the ODS handles what is happening right now. Number 7, data hub. Now, a data hub is not a storage system. It is sort of like a hub, and if I were to give you an airport analogy, think of a major international airport like Atlanta, Georgia. Passengers from many flights come to catch their connecting flights. Data comes in, gets standardized, and is sent to the right destination. This is really useful when dozens of systems need to talk to each other. In that case, the hub becomes the single point where everything connects. Number 8, data reservoir. This is probably the least talked about, but honestly the most mature version of data lake. So the data reservoir is basically a data lake, but with governance built in from day one. So all things that can cause data lake to turn into data swamp are taken care of. Think of the difference between natural reservoir and a random pond. A pond just collects whatever rainwater falls into it, and over time it gets murky and nobody wants to use it. A reservoir, on the other hand, is engineered. It has filters, monitoring systems, and controlled flow. The water is managed at every stage, so you can actually use it. That is exactly the difference between a data lake that slowly turns it into a swamp and a data reservoir that stays clean and usable for years. Alright, if you're still with me, you are definitely going to be a data expert soon. So consider subscribing for future videos, and if you ever wonder how data storytelling is done in real life, then check out my newsletter at yodas.com.